Hey everybody, I had a video planned, but I'm gonna film a different video. Let's take a look here. Can you see off in the distance those falls? There they are. See those? Those are making a lot of noise. Now see this trail? See how muddy and slippery it is along the water? And how steep it is? Well, I got on rubber boots. I'm trying out some new rubber boots that I've got on. And I got on this big backpack, pretty heavy, and it's kind of slick over there. So I was very carefully, and I was using the camera as a tripod, and I was very, very, very carefully easing along that bank, coming down here. And I was going to set up my hammock and spend the night down here at the other end of the creek. But if you look up there, let's see if I can zoom in on it. Right where that log is. See that log? That was the biggest cat. I don't know what it was. It didn't look like a bobcat. It was a big cat, and I didn't know there was any in Georgia in this area. But I was walking by and I was real quiet, and as I look over, I see it, and he's looking at me. And I bet, you know, I hadn't even seen a bobcat in probably 10 years, but I've never in my life seen a cat that big up here. I don't know what it was. Is there cougars in Georgia? Is there mountain lions? I don't know. I'm gonna have to research this when I get back. But, you know, this is an area that I don't normally go to. You can kind of see the rock formations and stuff. If I get to feeling better, I may. I don't know. Let me get to where I'm going, and we'll talk about it. All right. I'm gonna show you a little bit more of the scenery here. I haven't been here in about 10 years, or I don't know, 7 or 8. I don't come here very often because it's so hard to get to. But you can kind of see there what that mountain looks like. It's like a big mountain there, and everything's kind of holed up into this creek. And it's real treacherous walking along here, especially if you got rubber boots. But there's a confluence up there where two creeks come into one. That's why I wore my new rubber boots. But it's like really slippery getting there. But I'm gonna try to go down there to where that flat land is, so we can film a little better. It's probably going to be a big mud hole, but you know how it is. See, this is pretty treacherous. It may not look like it. Like I said, I got rubber boots on. I'm just hoping I don't take a swim. And there's moss everywhere. That moss right there is really slick. Not to mention all the mud, because it's rained so heavy that there was floods here. Oh, I almost lost it. I think the hard part's over now. See, there's that log. As far as I know, that's the only way of getting to the other side. And I'm not going to the other side. Not when there's a big cat over there. Let me turn you around. I've never had to deal with big cats. I know they're here. Bears don't scare me. Bears are afraid of people. Bears will run off. Almost fell in a minute ago. Anyway, I'll go ahead and talk to you now while we're getting down to this flatland area. I was going to come out here because it's my only night off, and I was going to spend the night in my hammock, and I brought my snowpack cocoon for insulation. What is this on me? Anyway, and I was going to show you a Moka pot. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the Moka pot and I'm going to get out of here. It's too late to find another area. And the other thing is, where I work, there's 4 machinists and a lead man. And y'all already know that I have a lot of overtime that I work. Well, one of them that had been there for 12 years transferred to another job. So, and they haven't replaced him yet. And they said it may take a month or 2 or 3 months to replace him. So that means we got to cover his second shifts and weekends, which is going to be more overtime for old Dave. So I'm going to continue trying to make the videos. They may not be as well planned out, may not be as well as long, but I'm going to try to. Here, let's take a look at this area right here. As you can see down there, if I could have crossed over, that other side is wonderful. And what I was going to do is I was going to stay up on that hill over there, but that's the, I don't know where that cat is. Because over here, if you look around, this is a mud hole. Because when this creek overflows, all this turns into solid mud. See, that over there is a lot higher ground. This over here is lower ground. This is where it floods. That's why this is perfect for a hammock. And then over here's the confluence. There was rumored that there was an old guy that lived up there years ago up on that mountain named Curtis, and he was kind of a hermit, and he rode his bicycle to town once a month and bought supplies and went to the post office to pick up his check. But that was like in the 70s, so I don't know if it's real or not. I'm gonna walk over there and take a look and see how deep that water is. I think I can get through there with these boots. Let's just walk over to this island. Maybe we can just turn this into kind of a fun video before I pull out the Moka pot. And a part of me wants to go over and be real quiet on this island. And if that cat comes back, maybe I can catch it on video. Hey, there's sand here. I wonder if there's any tracks around here. I don't think so. Here's this island. Did I say that guy's name was Curtis? I think his name was Curtis that lived over there. This is a very cool place. It's very secluded. I fished in these 2 creeks here a couple of times, and it was pretty fun. This looks like a dry spot. Let's just set up on this tree right here. I gotta say, I gotta apologize if I'm not really being my usual jovial self, but you know, like I said, I'm a little shook up. All right, so let's pull everything out of the backpack that I'm going to need for my Moka pot, and then we'll talk about it. And this seems like the only dry spot over here. I'm hearing birds. That's a good sign. All right, let's see. Let's take this pack off. And I guess I'll set it right here for now. Now let's pull this out. I'll put this up on my knee. Let's set this thing down. let's set this here and undo it. This was my snug pack cocoon that I was going to use. Now the first thing we're going to need is, let's move this stuff around. Where is it? I had that thing in here somewhere. There they are. Alright, 2 bungee cords, 2 plexiglass tables. And I'm going to show you how to set these things up on this tree. And then we're going to dig out our Moka pot. Alright? Oh, I almost forgot the other thing I'm going to need is my silky saw, because I got to saw a couple of small branches first, and then I'm going to have to trim them to size. I'm trying to take all dead branches. That way I ain't got to do any tree killing. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to trim these edges to a sharp edge, to a sharp point. And then we'll set up our first table. It's a double layer table. So you just want to slowly carve them like this. That's still pretty good wood right there. That'll work. You don't have to have green wood. Ain't much to this. This is just a piece of plexiglass with a couple of holes in it on the edges. And all you do, on a big tree, you wrap the bungee cord around it. But on a little tree, you have to wrap it and come around like this. You clip it on, and then clip it on, just like that. And then you take your 2 sticks and then you stick them in that hole right there. And you kind of level up from there. Just like that. And that's how you support the first one. Kind of push it in the ground to get level. So you're good to go on the first one. Then on the second one, you just make another couple of sticks. I was wrong. These are the old tables that I forgot to put the extra holes in. You need an extra set of holes here to go from point to point. So with these, what you have to do, I'll show you. You just saw out a flat log and use that to brace between the two. Just like that. You just have to be careful and not bump it, and then you got your double-decker shelves right there. I actually don't like this, so I went ahead and carved 2 other sticks. I think it'll be more stable. So you'll stab that one in, and stab that one in. And then just push the table down. And I think as long as I don't bump them, that'll be good to go. So what we're going to do now is I have a stand in here. This is a metal stand for an alcohol stove. We're just going to set that there, and I think this will work good as long as I don't bump it. And then in this bag, I have. Let's see. I don't need that. In a Betty Crocker icing container. Only thing it's good for. I have a Trangia stove, alcohol stove, and that goes right there. We're going to light that off in a minute. Alright, so let's put this back. And then I'll get out the Moka pot. Now down here on the bottom shelf, this will be a cool place that we can put our canteen so that we'll have our water handy and available. Like I say, this is good to go as long as you don't bump it. Oh God, what was that? See, I'm so jumpy. Oh, I'm so jumpy. That sent a chill up my spine, that crash coming from up on the mountain. And then I got a titanium cup with a lid. I'm going to set it down here. Alright, we're good to go now. You can also cook breakfast over here if you want to. So let's get the Moka pot out and talk about it. So here's a Moka pot. Most people are used to those Italian Moka pots. They're made out of aluminum, called a Bialetti. Well, this thing right here is a stainless steel one that came off of Amazon. The way this thing works is the top screws off, just like that. It's got a little screen under it with a silicone ring. And it's got a water vessel with a funnel looking thing. And what it does is it heats the water up, it pressurizes it, and turns it into steam and pushes it through the grounds. And then it comes up in the Moka pot there. So we're going to set this thing up now. Scoot this over. So this has a little pressure valve, and what you want to do is you want to pour the water all the way up to it. That way if this thing wants to explode for some reason, it's not going to explode. Now this particular one that came from the bargain bin actually had a crack in it, and that's why it was at the bargain bin for just $1. You can see down here on the bottom where I welded it up. And hopefully that weld will hold. I guess it was a manufacturing defect. Now I got some Lion Vanilla Macadamia that we're going to use. Now espresso coffee made in espresso is 5 to 8 times more concentrated than regular perk coffee. And what's made in a Moka is 2 to 3 times as concentrated. Now you're supposed to fill this thing all the way up, but I only fill it up about halfway. This makes really strong coffee. Now I'm going to show you the trick I figured out to this thing to making delicious coffee. So you set this in here like that, and then all you do is you screw the lid back on, and then this thing is good to go. Isn't that cool? Screw it on pretty tight, close the lid. You'll hear it when it starts spewing out. Now on these Trangia stoves, this thing's called a snuff lid because you snuff it out. And then it's got this regular lid right here. It's got an O-ring in to seal it up so it doesn't leak all over your backpack. But whenever you're done using it, you just take the snuff lid and put it on it like that. Or you can open it up part way for a partial flame for simmer. So what we're going to do is we're going to light it off. Gotta make sure not bump nothing. We're going to light it off and we're going to let it adjust itself. We're going to let it adjust itself before we put the pot on. Usually you can do it with a, there it goes. I thought it was going. Nope. I think it is. Yeah, it is going. Can't hardly see it. Now, in daylight, the flames, let's get you up a little bit. Now, in daylight, the flames are going to be coming out of the middle. And then as it gets going, the flames will come around the sides here. Oh yeah, it's going. It's barely going. I guess because of the cool temperature. You'll see it in a minute when it gets going. Now I got one more thing around here somewhere. Oh yeah. Whenever I carry spare alcohol, this is like a Coleman fuel bottle. I carry a piece of window flashing. And what that is that's a windshield. Whew, there it went. Did you hear it popping? See what that windshield does is it keeps the wind from blowing that out. I say I got a pretty good bit of weight on here and it's holding it up pretty good as long as I don't bump these sticks. I really need down here at the bottom, I need an extra set of holes so I can cut these to points. Now you can make these out of plexiglass or Lexan or plastic, or You could even make them out of plywood, maybe, but this is one of those things that pretty much anybody could make. And of course, you can make them out of aluminum. So once that thing establishes, the flames are going to be coming out all around that hole. Now, I don't think you can see it on camera, but it's starting to come out around all these little holes around it. And that means that instead of burning liquid, it's like it's burning like a vapor. So let's just set this on top. Now I'm going to put my hand back here between the shield and the tree to see if I feel anything. And I don't feel any heat. But if I put my hands up top, I can feel the heat now. The heat's coming up all around this. So let me check. 245. All right, I'm going to see how many minutes it takes to do this. And I think it's like 55 degrees Fahrenheit out there. But this alcohol stuff is just, it's no fuss, no muss, nothing to it. Now this little perk pot, hopefully what I'm going to do is, if the camera will crank up high enough, I'm going to open the lid and you can watch the coffee as it comes up and just spews in. It's pretty cool. In 5 minutes exactly. Do you hear it? That is pure steam pressurizing up through and going in. When it starts foaming, that's when you know it's empty and you got to take it off with water. There it goes, close it. See, it's turning into pure steam now. All right, now normally that would be, normally that would be good to go. You're ready to drink your mocha. All right, but I'm gonna show you what I do. It's a very, very small serving of very strong coffee. Like I said, espresso is 5 to 8 times more concentrated than percolated or drip coffee, and this is 2 to 3 times stronger. Okay, there. No more sound. So this is what you do with it. Leave that going, and I'm going to pour this in the cup. See the color of it? That's pretty strong right there. I hear the wind blowing that alcohol behind me. And that is roughly half a cup of coffee. So what I do now is I set that there and I put the lid on it. And then I undo this. Let me bring you around here where you can see what I'm doing. And what I do is I unscrew it and I'll hold that leather on the bottom. Now the pot is still very extremely hot. So I just take this thing off, okay? You see the hole up inside it. I've still got that on there with a silicone ring, which I really wanted it to stay on the pot. But I'm going to pull that off. I got to get my knife to get this thing out. I'll just set it down. This is kind of a tricky operation. Alright, so what you want to do now is I'm going to turn this around. Now it's not sitting on my plexiglass, it's sitting on those pieces of wood. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to refill it and leave these grounds in. And then we're going to wind up with a more diluted coffee. Alright, so put that on gently. And then you're going to want to screw this back on. Now, this should not take 5 minutes. This should be a lot quicker. But like I say, you don't put more grounds in it, you use the same grounds. Now, I've still got my alcohol going. So let's put this on here. Alright, now we're good to go. Alright, we're going to get that going. See how I had these sticks laying here so that I didn't touch my plexiglass? And then I got my coffee over here, the first half of it. And see, that's way too hot to drink. I probably could leave the lid off of it, but I'm going to put the lid on, and what I'm going to do is when this boils, I'll have probably more than a full cup. And it'll be good. Yeah, still going. Let's see how long this takes. This thing ran out of alcohol because it wasn't completely full. But for those of you that don't ever use these things, I'll show you how to. All you do is pour it in. Make sure it's out. Then pour it in, let it sit there for a minute. You want to let it kind of, you know, soak into it, because there's little valleys and like troughs and stuff in there. And it's already pretty warm, so you should just have to get a spark close to it. Come on now. There it goes. Now it shouldn't take too long for it to reestablish itself. Usually I should have checked it before I started to make sure that it was full. Whew. Alright, when that establishes, I'll put it back on. Alright, I hear it making a squealing noise. Let's try to catch that on video again. When it's actually coming up through the little nozzle thing, because I mean, this is like with a automatic drip, it just drips through the grounds, and with a percolator it just pushes it up through the grounds and dribbles over into it. Hear that? This literally turns that water down here. This is like a pressure vessel, and it turns it into steam and just pushes it, forces it through the grounds. You'll get everything you can get out of your grounds with a Moka pot. Here we go. Close it up. I think it cooled it off when I lifted it up. Let it go a little bit longer. I think I screwed it up by opening the lid. It's got to heat back up now. There it goes. Oh no! It's not supposed to do that. It ain't supposed to do that. It's full. See, it was only half. These things are... It's done that before. These things can be kind of unpredictable. Let's see if this is a little bit more dilute coffee. Let's take this lid off. Yeah, look at that. It's a lot more dilute coffee. So now what it is that first cup was extra strong, and this second cup is perfect. Now see, if you're out by yourself and you don't really want to, or if you just like Moka, you could put fresh grounds in it each time and have extra strong coffee. But if you're out by yourself and you want like a fresh cup every 2 hours, instead of having a percolator hanging over a fire, getting dehydrated, or should I say evaporating, yeah, evaporating away, just get you one of these things and just make it. You can see the weld down on the bottom. The weld seems to be holding up. So let's let this cool off. And then we're going to have us some coffee for closing. Oh, and this thing here, look. The way you snuff out this alcohol, pull off the guard and let it cool, and just put the snuff lid on. Whoop. You just drop this on, and it snuffs it out. And then you'll let it cool. And then you can screw the lid back on with the O-ring, and then you'll be ready to store it back in your pack. Isn't that cool? Ooh, it's getting hot. All right. I got coffee all over the top table. I don't want to put it in my backpack with all that on it. But I found something interesting down here that I want to carry you down here and show you right down here. Now, this is something interesting that I did not know about this area. Look, there's some tracks. See them? Look at that. It's like quicksand. Look down here. All right, we're following the creek. Look at this. I may still come back here in the future. Look at this. Look. Now this is the main creek. Look at this. There's the main creek. It's got another creek coming into it. And then it branches off into two creeks. There's 4 creeks here. Hey, look, there's more tracks. Yeah, those are deer tracks. Look at that. Creek, 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 creek. Heard something loud behind me. Oh man, look. Look at that. The creek I was just talking about turning into 3 is 2. There's one over there and one there forming this one. Unreal. Let's go back and have our coffee. I'm gonna get out of here because I keep hearing loud sounds. It's kind of bothering me. I'm still not calmed down yet from earlier. All right, now it's time to try our coffee. Oh, perfect. I may make this the thumbnail. See, I have to pick the thumbnail for the video. How's that? That's good coffee. I love it. It tastes very, very good. The whole reason that I come out here is to enjoy myself. And I've always been a firm believer in trust your instincts. And because of how shook up I was earlier, my instincts say don't stay, and I'm not going to enjoy myself. And I'm really, like I said, I was walking along that steep bank holding the tripod as support so I wouldn't fall in the water, and the whole time I was thinking to myself, don't fall in the water, don't fall in the water, don't fall in the water, because this is not the GoPro, this is not a waterproof camera. And then that's when I look up and I see this giant cat, and I haven't seen anything like that around here. Like I said, even the smaller ones like the bobcats, it's been 10 years since I've seen one. Bobcats are real skittish, so my instincts say, you know, go on home, do this a different time. Well, I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you thought it was neat seeing what a Moka pot was. Research it more. There may be a lot more about it that I don't know. So, coffee was perfect. Because I've drank it straight out of the Moka pot and it was too strong for my taste. But there's just something about, I don't know, if you boil coffee like cowboy coffee, you ruin it. Somehow or another, when that steam goes through those beans one time, one good hot time, it makes delicious coffee. Especially if you run water back through and get a weaker version and add it to this, it's really good. I promise I'll show you the hammock and the cocoon and all that at some other time. I've also got some giant camo panels for hiding the whole hammock campsite that I'll do one day. That ought to be fun. Like I said, I was, but not now. So, get out, enjoy life, trust your instincts. I know I do, and we shall. See you in the next one.